Now, hello
We're
guys,
live.
we're back.
We're
The
back.
Sorry about last week. Um, sorry, not sorry. I don't know. Should I apologize? Uh,
No,
no. Okay, I'm not sorry about
don't
last.
ever apologize. Like Trump, you don't ever have to say you're sorry.
I'm not sorry that I had the coronavirus.
Is it
Um,
too late to say sorry? Not
is
Bieber.
that it? That is Bieber. I was just gonna ask you that same question, but yeah, that's Bieber.
Yeah, I think it is.
Um,
Not that I listened to
I
that
know,
kind
right?
of
Like
stuff, right?
nobody Nobody actually listens to
No.
Bieber. Me, honey, erase my Spotify history.
Don't put out my Spotify playlist.
I
Yeah.
had so I don't know if I've been watching too many like true crime shows, Heath, but
Oh, dude.
I really
Yes.
feel like I got to talk. I feel like first of all, the 80s and like the early 90s were the worst time for like detective work and police
Yes.
departments. Like all of these amazingly good true crime stories, they all come from like these time period, other than like the big ones like the Black Dahlia, or like the big
Sure.
like fancy murder things. But
Now, which ones are you watching? Because I'm a huge true crime guy. I'm obsessed with those shows.
have you seen the recent one? Now this might make me an enemy of some people, but have you seen the recent one from about Lacey Peterson and Scott Peterson specifically?
No.
Dude, oh
Is
man.
it on Netflix or what? Where are we
Um,
talking?
I believe it was on Hulu, if I remember
Okay.
correctly. My wife was right.
Right.
It probably was because she watches a lot of stuff on Hulu.
Yeah.
I'm okay. So the Lacey Peterson crime stuff was so like that was like me as a young adult. So I was starting to pay
Yeah.
attention to like like media stuff and stories and the
Oh
news
yeah.
and um. So in my mind, when somebody if Rachel was telling me, oh, I'm watching the Lacey Peterson trial or whatever, my mind automatically goes to, oh, Scott Peterson, what a piece of garbage, like terrible
For sure.
person, because that's kind of what I was kind of conditioned to believe based on what the media was reporting and just probably my very limited knowledge of the whole case and scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I tell you what, by the end of this, and this was like a season long, so this is like several episodes. It's not just like one documentary. Um, but by the end of it, quite frankly, I think that there's probably a pretty good chance that Scott Peterson didn't do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Lacey was crazy. I mean, right? Wasn't she like she was out
no,
partying or clubbing or
no.
something? Is
You're
that the one
no,
I'm
you're
thinking
thinking
of?
of the girl that killed her kids.
No, that's right.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, I
thinking about
am.
the girl that
I
killed her
messed
kids.
up. All
Lacey
right.
Peterson was the pregnant woman in Florida who I think it was Florida or Cali, might have been Cali. I think Modesto, California. Um,
Okay.
she was the woman who was walking her dog, and basically one day just kind of disappeared, and so they immediately targeted her
I
husband.
do
Her
remember
husband
this.
Scott was
Yeah.
having an affair with a woman named Amber Fry. There was all
Yeah.
of this, but there's like they don't even go like, dude, the details, like when you watch it from both sides and the perspectives, like um the police were using Amber Fry to try to get Scott to admit to something, um and like throughout the entire process, Scott never once ever slipped up. He was never inconsistent with his alibi, um
Yeah.
and the entire case hinges on a 45-minute to an hour period of time that Lacey's neighbor had found their dog out in the yard by himself. And when
Hmm.
there were reports of people seeing her walking the dog at the park. But on the same day that she disappeared, there was a robbery across the street from their house. And reportedly, Lacey confronted the people that were robbing that she saw with the van and basically told them to get out of here or whatever.
Huh.
So like, dude, there's like way more stuff involved in this thing, and it's so you owe it to
See, I always
yourself.
watch that stuff. I watch that stuff and I think, how could the cops just drop the ball so significantly? I'm like so many, like I watch Mindhunter, I
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
the one Making a Murder, that kind of
right.
stuff. But I watch all those things, dude. And it's always like the police are always like, well, we have this information, but I didn't share it and I didn't pass it on down the line. Or, I watched this one just recently called Don't F with Cats. And it's
Oh,
on Amazon. And it's like 3 episodes long. And it starts out with this guy on the internet who posts a video of him killing a cat,
ooh,
like in a group way, killing a kitten. And then all these people go like grassroots and they create Facebook groups and they go, we got to find out who this guy is. We got to look at the posters on his
right,
wall.
right,
We got to
right.
look at, they find, then episode 2, he ramps it up and he kills a guy live and he posts it on the internet. Okay.
This
So
is
they
all
knew he
real
was going
stuff?
to ramp it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Real. This
What?
is a documentary. And so now they're really good. Now they're telling the
Holy
police going, we told
cow.
you about this. We warned you about this. We told you he was going to kill, move up and keep going up. Well, finally they catch the guy at the very end, but the police are utterly incompetent like the whole time. Like there's one point where the French, I think it's like the Toronto, Canada,
Hmm.
Toronto Police Department, they are taking the evidence and they're putting it on a copy machine and they're copying it to
What?
take like that's how they're taking pictures. Like they have his T-shirt, like his bloody T-shirt, and it's black and white, and it's laid on the copy machine. So I
Wow.
mean, it's just like you watch this stuff and you go,
Yeah,
why didn't they just listen? I
right.
mean, I know they have like millions of stuff to sort through, but
Well,
seriously, it's a mess.
it like,
What?
well, and that goes back to my theory. Like, it seems to me that on the on the merge of when technology was really starting to become good, like we could use the
Yeah,
internet for things, it seemed like we were still using a lot of like really weird, like almost like old wives' tale methods to like. Do
yeah,
you remember like for, in the 90s there were a lot of police departments that were hiring psychics?
yeah,
Like, do you remember that? Like, that's not
yeah.
just a thing
Oh,
that I'm
yeah.
making up. Like, that was people
No,
were
they would
hiring.
take him to like crime scenes and
Yeah,
stuff and ask him what. Oh yeah, I remember.
yeah,
That's sort of what that show Psych is.
right.
Like what
Because
it
he
plays
was
off of.
right, right. So there's this. It just feels like everything was really disorganized. You think back to the OJ trial.
Yeah. I may have lost you. You froze up. Hello? Oh no. Am I frozen on your end too? Yeah, frozen. Hello?
We are back. I'm back. I don't know if anybody else is back. We're live. So hang on a second. Let me get him back in here. Weird. I know, man. It's a conspiracy, dude. The whole thing is a conspiracy. I got booted because we were talking about OJ's innocence. I got tasered. Andrew totally is right. I got tasered. Sorry about that, guys. We're coming back now.
Hey,
So,
that was
yeah,
weird.
that, yeah, that's what happens when you start talking about government conspiracies. They're watching you.
I was all of a sudden you froze up. I was like, hello? Hello?
Yeah, I got swatted. I'm dead.
Dude, that stuff's freaky, man. When people get swatted and while they
Yeah, yeah,
live
yeah,
stream. Oh, I hate that
yeah,
noise. No, never, nobody ever do that to us. Don't do that. You'll
yeah.
never know where we are. Don't
Yeah.
look at my posters and somehow find out where I live and if I'm killing cats or something. I would never kill a cat.
We so my original thought after saying all that about the police departments and stuff is like I realized I had like
Tomorrow.
this revelation that that with with my social media, like I don't stand a chance in the court of public opinion. Like just thinking
Yeah.
back to like my own like my posts on social media and stuff, like dude, I don't stand a chance. Like they're gonna if I'm ever framed for murder or accidentally accused, dude, I'm
You
done.
got to purge, man. You got to do like a full purge.
Yeah,
That's what we before we went live. We were talking about this. I sent Drew a thing from Twitter where Twitter, it looks like they're banning memes or something now.
right.
So with all social media, you have to be super careful because there was stuff like every once in a while, you know, Facebook says 10 years ago you said this, and
Right.
it's the stupidest thing like I could have ever said.
Yeah.
And I look back and I'm like, oh man, I just need to delete these
All right.
posts so bad. Sponsored
Yeah.
by the Iowa caucus. That's right.
I remember I made a post one time and I was reading, it was like one of my first Facebook posts ever. And I think I wasn't really sure like what Facebook was supposed to do or like
Yeah.
how it was supposed to be for me. So I posted, I was thinking, I was like, oh, I'm going to use this for like, you know, like stand up bits and just make people laugh or whatever. And
Yeah.
so I think my first post was something along the lines of, um, you can tell I have an iron deficiency by all the wrinkles.
But you know, Facebook has morphed since
Oh,
we
yeah.
first started.
That's
Because
true.
I used to write stuff like, you know, I used to start my stuff with "is going to the grocery store,"
Right.
and that was like a post,
Yeah.
just to let people know, you know,
Yeah.
Heath is going to the grocery store, and like, you know, now you'll know that old people
Yeah.
haven't learned because they'll still do that. They'll be like,
Yeah.
"It's so tired of blah blah blah,"
Yeah.
and you're like, I don't know, my
I used to
boomer,
sign all of
boomer
my
guy.
messages sincerely Drew. If I was directly going right through PMing you, or if I was commenting on your wall, I'd be like, "Love you guys, sincerely, Drew."
Thanks. I had the most like the funniest situation happen. My grandmother, who's like 80 years old,
Yeah.
just got Facebook
Nice.
like the other day. Okay.
Awesome.
So then somebody comments on her Facebook and says, "Hey, I'm glad you're doing well." You know, just commenting. And some other old lady, a friend of hers, comments under that comment and says, "Thanks so much. The kids are going," and she thinks that the woman who's talking to my grandmother is talking to her
Oh my goodness
about her
gracious.
grandkids. And I took a screenshot of it because I was like, I want to remember that.
Yeah.
Like 20 years from now, I want to look back and be like, that's beautiful. That was peak old people not having any clue how technology.
Do you think if I opened up the window, the Wi-Fi could get in better?
That's like, I remember my dad when DVDs first came out and he looks at me and he goes, that'll never catch on. And I still remind him of that today. I still go, hey dad, remember when you told me DVDs weren't going to be a thing, and now we have Blu-ray and HD, and they, you know,
How about like
mind-blowing.
How about like when laser discs were trying to be a thing?
That's right.
They were DVDs, but they were the size of records.
Record players.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it when I go to a yard sale and some guy's trying to like unload his collection, and like he was the cool guy.
Yeah.
For about 6 months.
All the neighbors came over to his house just to watch these laser discs.
He's like, yeah, you know, I got some kung fu movies on laser disc. You know, no big deal. And
you guys want to come over and watch Top Gun again?
what's it in Office Space? You know, come, dude, kung fu. Come watch kung fu, son.
Yeah.
Dude, turn to channel 64.
We had so do you remember the big Blu-ray HD DVD battle back, you know, about 10 years, was it 10, 15 years ago ish?
Yeah.
So I was sold on HD DVD, bro. I was convinced that HD DVD was going to be the next big thing. And so, you
never know. Like I thought, you know, I saw 3D for a little bit. I was like, well, that's kind of a cool thing. Now that's going to be, and I don't know anybody personally that owns a 3D TV or uses the glasses.
I did for about a year.
At home. Yeah. Was it amazing? Did it change your life?
It was the same as watching it in the theater without the being in the theater. It wasn't really.
Yeah.
The coolest experience I think with the 3D TV was that I could play Assassin's Creed 3 in 3D.
Oh, that
was pretty neat. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I've never actually used VR stuff, and I've
kidding.
I've never tried it, and I'll watch people do it, and I'm but I never had in a situation where I'm like, hey, let me do VR, you know what I mean, or that I would do it right, you know. So
my kids love it. I have an Oculus. I've gotten on it for a few things. It's really. I think I like VR for the experience because they haven't really catered the gameplay to what I feel like I'm capable of doing. So
like right now, isn't it sit in a chair and stuff happens around you basically? Or
I can, Yeah, and those type of things I'm fine with. Like, and I did play Resident Evil 7 through on VR, and it was
Yeah,
terrifying. It was awesome. But yeah,
that would be crazy.
speaking of Iowa caucus, since Andrew decided to bring
Oh
that
my
up,
word.
that that dumpster
That was a
fire of
real that was a real thing, wasn't
fun.
it?
Oh man, I tell you
Dude,
what.
I stayed up till 11:30 last night waiting for those stupid results.
Oh my
Just because
goodness.
like I love politics. I just like to be in it, and it's sort of
Yeah,
like my Super Bowl, So
yeah.
I'm sitting there waiting, and it's so awkward watching Buttigieg come out there
Oh
and
my
declare
gosh.
victory. When I mean he had internal polling, they all whatever,
Right,
but internal polling looked like Bernie was actually going to win. So
right.
it's pretty gutsy move there, Pete, Mayor Pete, to come on out.
Buttigieg is the most beta cuck
Yeah,
male I have ever met in my life. Like, I feel like that guy would walk into a room with Donald Trump and would just fall down and just be like,
yeah.
"I'm so sorry for everything that I've done." Just I
Yeah,
feel
no, he won't stand. I actually think Bernie is the heaviest hitter against
well,
Trump.
he's certainly the most consistent one.
Yeah, I think neck and neck. Like if they, he'll have the hardest time with Bernie in a debate, just because everything that he can say about Bernie has already been said. You know, what I mean, what he's going to
Sure.
say: socialism, communism, socialism, and Bernie will say, "Yep, you're right, you're right, you're right." I mean, he'll just agree to everything.
Yeah, but
Whereas
he
with
doesn't have to
Pete,
debate Bernie though. Like, I feel like he could just all he has to really just kind of do is talk about like why
yeah,
what you say won't work because what I'm doing has been working.
yeah, yeah, and Bernie's. I mean, he just had a heart attack. Like he's mad old, right?
Yeah.
I mean that's not good. That's not good.
I don't
He'll
think
be
that
the
most
oldest.
Bernie supporters are actually going to go out and vote. I think they
Yeah,
just want to vocally be Bernie supporters.
yeah.
Um, but again,
What can you do?
this podcast isn't about politics, so you
Yeah,
can have your own opinion, and we don't care just as long as it matches ours. Um,
that's right.
but the State of the Union is happening tonight, so that will be a good one to watch. I think I'll enjoy watching that. Is it
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on right now? Hopefully, we
It
don't miss it.
starts in 4 minutes.
Cool. So we won't miss it because we'll how long have we been going? No,
We'll
we'll
miss
miss a
all the
little bit of
fluff.
it.
We'll miss
we'll
the
miss
fluff.
we'll miss a little bit of it. That's okay though. That's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll miss the beginning couple
Well,
pieces.
what will happen is he'll card out a bunch of people, and he'll say, "Here's a story about this guy from Wuhan, China,
Right.
who has the coronavirus in our right now in the audience," and
Yeah.
and you'll see everybody just slowly get up and walk out.
Yeah.
Just and Trump will single handedly take out the entire House Democrats in one fell swoop.
Well, and apparently he's already talking about conducting the national anthem from the front this time. So
Really
yeah. No, did you see
interesting.
the thing? I guess like there's like this video that surfaced about like during one of the national anthem. I think it might have been the Super Bowl, but he was watching it from like the White House or whatever. And
Yeah,
he was like a kind of like a little kid. He was just like kind of like moving around and like fiddling and doing, like he was like conducting it for a
yeah, yeah.
second. And of course the left is freaking out. They're like, how disrespectful he is to the flag. And it's like, you're the same person that wants Colin Kaepernick to be like the next
That's
president.
right.
Like, are you
That's right.
serious?
That's right. Yeah, and it's like my favorite thing was when he tweeted out the Kansas City thing, and
Oh my
people were
lord.
like, "He's so dumb." I was like, "Dude, there's a Kansas City like in both states. Like, whatever. Just
Most people didn't even know that.
I know. It's just silly. Like,
Yeah.
come on, have some fun there." But every little thing, Cobb Fefe has to be a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. But
Still
did
doesn't
you
hurt
watch
him in
the
the
Super
polls.
Bowl? Were you excited about that?
Oh, it was fantastic, man. It was
Yeah,
wonderful. I
that was a
mean,
crazy comeback, man.
just amazing. I was I had a moment where I was a little bit scared and I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
they're gonna lose. And that's kind of what made me think of like, man, I must really do like this team. Which is fine. You get excited, you get up into the hype with
yeah.
it and everybody's watching and having a good time. So,
Dude, I saw
uh,
this meme that was like tragic photos, 10 most
yeah,
tragic photos and it was like the 49ers celebrating their
yes, 10 disturbing photos that were taken right before a
right
tragedy.
before tragedy.
Oh yeah, dude, it was great, man. It was,
Now banned on Twitter. You cannot post that meme on Twitter. Please do not.
oh
We're not
Lord.
advocating that. So yeah, it was. I know everybody was freaking out. I didn't even see. I watched like the highlight of the end because I don't know what I was doing. I was studying or
Mm,
doing something. But everybody was talking about the Super Bowl halftime show, And I went back. I mean, I went back and watched it on YouTube, and I was like, I don't know. I was okay. It was fine. You know,
Yeah.
and I was like, my wife and I were like, did they not know what J Lo and Shakira are all about? You know, I mean, Shakira's hips. She tells us they don't lie. She
Dude, that's
warned
like
us.
what she's known for. She's
I
known
know.
for truthful hips.
I know. She has great hips, and they don't lie. They've never lied to us. They told the truth.
If anything,
So
as Christians, we should kind of be happy about that, right? I
I don't
mean,
know. You know, it's like I don't know what they want. Like somebody posted like, yeah,
I'm
truth
gonna get
telling
in
hips.
trouble. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, somebody posted like the new kids on the block. They're like, we need old stuff like this again. And Mickey Mouse characters are coming out, and I was like, that's like, come on, we're past that. It's like we're not step by step anymore in America.
I
We have
just
to
wish
step by step,
day
day
by
by day,
day.
and you know it. But
Yeah.
that was that era. You know,
Yeah, but I feel like even when the new kids on the block did perform,
yeah.
there were still just as many people upset about that back then as
People
there
have always
are.
that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there people are. That's why I don't even give credence to it anymore. Like that's been like I just get worked up. I get
Yeah,
worked, and I don't get worked up at like the issues themselves. I get worked up at like the people that I feel like should be way smarter than the
sure,
issues.
sure.
And that's what works me up. And
I mean, there have been some killer shows.
yeah,
Like Paul McCartney was killer.
yeah,
Didn't they have the Who one year or something? That was, I
yeah,
mean, they've had some amazing Red
yep,
Hot Chili Peppers. I think did it. I mean, they've had some killer acts.
yeah.
So, and I feel like Shakira and J Lo, that's a pretty dynamic duo. You know what I mean?
Bro,
So I
that
was
was the
like,
tamest. Quite frankly, that was like the tamest that I've ever. I mean, like
yeah,
I remember the year that Lady Gaga did it. I remember the
my word,
year,
yeah, she
and even then,
killed
it
it.
wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't. I mean,
Yeah,
I just think that,
it was the
uh,
poll. If here's the thing, Drew, if you'd gotten rid of the poll, nobody would have. You gotten rid of the poll and the chaps, nobody would have said a thing.
well,
That's probably, I'm telling you,
uh,
that's when it got a little. That's when my wife was like, "Well, the poll is
yeah. But I mean, if you ever go to a Cirque du Soleil, you're gonna see people
great point."
dancing with in ribbons and poles all the time. I mean, like you can't have both, dude.
That's right.
Like you can't have
That's
both. You
right.
can't you can't like love and worship football and then
Hmm.
hate any other type of societally unacceptable thing. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying like I have to give context to this now because I
Yes.
have a blog, as a Christian. I have a blog. It's called The Dirty Christian, and I've always been very kind of blatantly outspoken against certain Christian issues because
Sure.
I take issues with Christians that take issues, which is weird. I know that doesn't make sense, but anyway, I just made the point that I'm not against football. I love football, and I'm not against art. I love art, and
Yep.
and if my daughter wants to go learn how to dance, well, guess what? Even in ballet, she's going to be wearing tights, and she's going to be, you're going to see all the muscle tone. You're going to see all of that stuff. I mean,
Yep.
sometimes ballet dancers sometimes look completely naked. They're not naked. I get it, but
Yeah.
they're wearing skin colored clothing. Like
Yeah.
it's just silly, man. Like be consistent.
I
You
know
know
it's selective moral outrage, man. It's what it
Selective
always
moral
is.
outrage. I like that. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's what it is. Did you have a commercial that you loved?
The Jason Momoa one was one of the top ones
Yeah.
for me.
People are talking about that one. Yeah.
I loved the Old Rugged Flag one. I thought that one was
Yeah.
awesome.
I like
Uh,
Cranston. I thought that was fun when he did The Shining and he was the twins and Bryan Cranston
yeah,
made
that was good.
acts and that was fun.
I'm just more excited for Mountain Dew Zero, to be quite honest with you. That's more exciting to me. But I love Mountain Dew.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what people want. I know a ton of people who are like, I watch for the commercials because it's literally, unless you're there watching the game, it's
yeah,
like 5 minutes of game and then like 7 minutes of commercial
yeah.
because it's so expensive
Right.
to pump it out. So,
Well, speaking of commercials, so this will be a good way to end it because we got about 6 minutes left.
yeah.
So, let's talk about the Disney Plus commercial that
Oh,
they.
my word. Yes.
So, well, not only did we get a really good another teaser for White Widow,
Yeah.
or not White Widow, Black Widow, excuse me. But we got to see some Disney Plus magic with Falcon and Winter Soldier, with
And Wanda's.
WandaVision, and then a
Oh,
little tiny snippet of Loki's stuff.
yeah. Oh, I love
So
Wanda's throwback
yeah,
outfit.
what is your like? Tell me, what is your favorite? What about that stood out to you the most of that
I'm
little
trying.
snippet of commercial?
So my initial thing is I think Captain, I mean Winter Soldier and Falcon. That's going to be like classic buddy cop comedy type thing.
Yeah,
That's
I
gonna
think
be
it's gonna be
fun.
funny. Yeah,
WandaVision is so unique to me because I don't. If you watch her in the trailer, it's like she doesn't know what's happening, and
right.
Vision's sort of all about it. Like he's just sort of in it, and she's like, changing from costume to costume. I'm like, so how's what's this playing out? Now I've heard that they're going to play that show directly into Doctor Strange,
Yes, correct.
which is about the multiverse of madness. So
Yep.
maybe she's caught in some sort of time loop slash multiverse, because she has chaos magic.
Right.
And so maybe they're going to start playing that out with her chaos magic has gone awry.
Mm,
Or my other thought was if it's nightmare, maybe
mm.
she's stuck in a nightmare and with vision or
Interesting.
something. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
and it depends on how much they play out with the original storyline
Sure.
too, because they there is the mini series. I think it's a 14 book
Yeah.
mini
Wanda and
series,
yeah.
Wanda and the Vision. And from that one, from what I understand, and nerds don't crucify me here, but this is from what I remember. Basically, they're able to download uh, and save Vision after the Infinity War. They're able to
Oh,
download him
yeah.
into a new body, and so basically he is there, but he's not all there. So it's like he's like 98% vision, but there's like 2% that's unknown, and it makes it very scary because it's just
Yeah.
like Wanda's, and that's where the horror aspect I think in the descent in the
So
multiverse of madness is going to start to come into, because I think she's going
yeah.
to recognize like this is Vision, but it's not Vision. It's going to be
So
like
do
a
you
body
think
snatcher situation.
she gets in his brain and like tries to
Yeah.
pull out the true vision
Yep. I
to
think
bring
that's
him
what's going to
back?
happen. I
Oh
think
man, that's great.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be her experimenting with her chaos magic to fix Vision, and then in that chaos magic, she's gonna unlock a lot of really scary and twisted stuff.
All right. Well,
So
here's a spicy little piece of rumor news that I found
spicy.
just recently. Christian Bale
Hmm.
is rumored to be in Thor
Right.
of Love and Thunder, and it's rumored that he's Beta Ray Bill.
Yes. In
That's the
fact,
rumor,
I just
which would
I
be crazy.
yeah, I think I just read something too. That probably the same thing that you just read, but
Yeah.
they've basically announced him that he is going to be an intergalactic villain. I think that those
See,
were
I
the
didn't know
terms that
that.
they used.
So
So
villain, that's interesting. So maybe, but Beta Ray Bill kind of starts as a villain, and then
right, right, right. Well,
realizes
that's
that
yeah,
he's not. You know.
yeah. There's going to be that assumption there if people don't know much about Beta Ray Bill. Just kind of like the same thing with the Mysterio
Yeah.
circumstance with Spider-Man was like, we all know, like, okay, Mysterio is a bad dude, like, but everything that they're showing us is like he's kind of good. So how are they going to play
Yeah.
this one out?
And
So
that's something too, where Bale likes to play those weird. He likes to
yeah,
try new stuff, and it's sort of the thing where he would be doing mostly voice acting, right? I
yeah,
mean, he wouldn't have to be CGI Bill, and so that could be really cool. His voice would be killer as Bill if he was Bill. I mean, it could be. I mean, it could be Balder the Brave. He could be. I was thinking about
yeah,
If he's Gore the God Butcher. One of my favorite storylines
yeah,
of like the new God, Thor God of Thunder with Jason Aaron. Oh, I love that storyline with the God Butcher and
yeah.
the God killing sword. So, anyways, if that's the storyline, that would be killer too.
Do
But
you
I don't know
think
how
that
they do that with
would they be jumping though, like to such a new storyline with Thor yet, or do you think that they're still really
yeah,
trying to solidify their older platforms that will allow? Because if they have to keep it in the canon, it seems like it would be really hard to like jump to more recent stuff,
yeah.
because then it opens up so many questions for like why now? Like why is this happening? What happened before?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the unknown is that we have no clue who the big bad of the next big phase
Right.
is. Right? It could be
Right.
Galactus. Could be who knows what they're going to do. So I don't even. I mean, the fact that they added in Portman to
Yeah.
brought her back, that was like a huge wrench in
Yeah,
my
that's
plans. I didn't
right.
even know, because if she becomes Thor and then he becomes unworthy, like how do we deal with that?
Right.
Because we really need Thor to have his final arc. Like he's the one who has not had that final. Iron
Yeah.
Man did, Captain America did. We need Thor to have his final, like, I'm done.
Right.
I can, my contract can be done now.
And 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 they kind of played out the whole unworthy thing
I know we've already
during
done that.
Endgame. So I feel like, yeah, I feel like maybe there'll be
I mean,
some
we have
different
Mjolnir back, but he also has
Stormbreaker.
Yarnbjorn or Stormbreaker. Yeah,
Yeah.
Stormbreaker is right. So I mean, he could just be like, "You have this, I'll have this, and we're both Thor." I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
could work out. Or they could, because we're exploring more into the multiverse, they could assign her to a different universe.
Oh, I'd
And then
love that.
you don't lose Thor and
She
you
comes through a portal and she's the Thor
right.
in that multiverse. I
Why
love it.
not? Why
I love
not?
it.
There's so much that we can do. Anyway, that's exciting. We want to
Yep.
hear your guys' opinions on that too. So please feel free to drop messages, leave comments on the page, Sanctuary of Heroes.
Do it.
Subscribe to the podcast, share this out, let people know. Big night tonight for the State of the Union. For people who don't know, that is where the president addresses Congress on the State of the Union. So make sure you get out there and check out what's going on. Whether you like them or hate them, it's always good to know what is going on in our country.
Yep.
And so that's important. And I, I was gonna do the whole last word thing, but I've been sick, so I don't have anything funny to say, Heath. But give us our last word and take us out.
The last word of the night is that Natalie Portman will kill Thor in the first 5 minutes. Is my prediction. Okay. Christian Bale comes out as the new Thor from a separate multiverse. They fall in love. They have what's his name? Chris something. Chris Hemsworth is born as the other Thor from the universe, and we're caught in a time loop, and that's Love and Thunder. That's the triangle. That's the last word of the night. That's my prediction. And if that doesn't come true, then I'll quit watching Marvel for the rest of my life.
Just done, just throwing everything away.
Just
All
done.
right, guys.
Yeah.
Have a great night. God bless you. Take care. We'll see you guys on the internet. Bye-bye.
Peace out. We're out.